you know, what everybody says about Blue Rodeo is that you're a quintessential bar band. I mean, what does that mean, a bar band? Will you play Maple Leaf Gardens if you get the chance, or are you going to say, oh, I don't want that?
Yeah, if they get a license. If they put tables in front of every seat. I just think that that's the way our music is contoured, that it has to have a certain kind of intimacy to work. I mean, there's a lot of rough edges, and a lot of what big, you know, Maple Leaf Garden shows are all about is just the perfection of the sound, and that's not really our area of expertise. Our expertise is kind of reading an audience and you know, taking them through the same dynamic that we go through in the songs.
There are people who say, you know, oh, Springsteen was never the same once he played a stadium. I mean, are you going to hold yourselves back so you can maintain that kind of intimacy, or do you just want it all?
I think we're certainly holding ourselves back in the States, but it depends. You know, we've just seemed to have adapted to whatever opportunity has come to us. I don't know if it would ever get to that stage. You know, I don't know if this type of music is particularly suited for that. And we seem to be kind of regrouping our new songs. I mean, that's one of the reasons we're back at the Horseshoe tonight, is that our new songs are not even suited for the kind of 1,000-seaters that we're playing. We want to come into a smaller place and play quieter. And so by intention, probably not, but who knows, you know, we've enjoyed every stage so far.
Did you ever consider yourselves a counterculture band?
Well, we were waiters for a long time. That's kind of counterculture.
I think we've always sort of been counterculture, and just to the extent that I just know personally I don't know where I was ever going to fit in the first place. So it was just nice to find somewhere that I felt a little more comfortable, you know. So, and yeah, I don't know if I particularly want to join, you know, what everybody's getting ready for today as they're watching this, but I think that's sort of flattering to be considered counterculture. So if someone's thought that, I think that would be very nice. But there's a lot of people who would think that we're just, you know, mainstream too. So.
Because once you get the record deal, and then once you are on the charts, and then once you start making money, and then once people approach you with endorsements, I mean, it seems to be a chain that progresses further and further. Is that going to take you away what you set out to do in the beginning?
Well, I think that we're going to try to avoid as much as that as possible. You know, we don't want to get hooked up with a breakfast cereal or, you know, a type of alcohol. You know, we just want to just play our music. And the only corporate sponsorship that we really want is just, you know, from our record label, and that's good enough for us. You know, we will become our own commodity.
Now, you recently toured some of the States. What kind of reception did you get there?
It was the reception was very good. The crowds were fairly underwhelming. We're a very unknown entity down there. So for us, it's very akin to when we first started out in Canada. And although we made a kind of bar reputation in Toronto, whenever we'd go somewhere else, to Vancouver or Calgary or something, we would play to really small crowds and just try to, you know, get word of mouth. So it's not bad in Buffalo and New York, and pretty much the other 100 and 200 cities. It's pretty small.
How badly do you want or do you need to make it in the States?
Well, I think that you want to make it down there, but you don't want to have to sell your soul for it, you know. So we'll do the same thing that we did up here. We'll just start playing around down there, and you know, if we can get it going, we don't want to, you know, have a whole pile of ads and people get hyped up about it. We want, you know, hopefully people to like the music, get some critical response, and then have it work up that way rather than, you know, record companies telling people what to buy. So sure, yeah, it'd be really nice if it happened down there, but I don't think that any of us are, you know, buying stock in the Blue Rodeo company because of it.
So you're not going to turn into Platinum Blonde on us?
I don't think so, but then they wanted to make it down there so bad that it got embarrassing. You know, nothing personal. I've never met any of them, but you know, it was just like they wanted to be an American band. You know.
I don't think we could ever live up to hype. You know, any time that we've been hyped and have had to go into some place, we've kind of just been too self-conscious about it.
Give me an example of that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if
give us an example.
Yeah, that could be difficult. I suppose when we went to the Olympics and we were, when you become a popular act and people come and see you because they've heard one song and they know the name, that's a strange audience to play to, and people kind of assume that you're rich and famous, and then you kind of feel embarrassed that you're in gritty clothes, and you know, then you have to go through that sorting out period where they hear your music and they either go, oh, this is great, better than I thought, or yuck. And so I think we're just a very self-conscious kind of band, and I don't think we could live up to hype very easily.
Now you have one song, Bud the Spud from PEI. Do you purposely try to inject a little bit of Canadiana into the set?
Well, that's a Stompin' Tom song, and I don't know. It just
That's a one-shot deal, right?
it's fun. It's fun. I don't know if we're going to be the ambassadors of Canadian potatoes around the world, but it's fun to
Now,
do
there's
it.
a sponsorship we could do.
Really.
These potatoes are the best darn potatoes.
We got eyes in the back of our heads.
I ask that because there is a certain pressure, at least amongst the media, when there's a Canadian band and they start making it big as well. Are they Canadian? Do they sing Canadian? Do they sound Canadian? Do they write Canadian? Is there such a thing as Canadian?
Well, is Glass Tiger, Loverboy, and Bryan Adams considered a Canadian sound? And if so, I hope we don't sound Canadian. But
Taking a shot at everybody.
well, just the big wigs. But there's sort of a generic Canadian rock sound, and that's fine. I'm glad they've got they do what they do, but it's not a voice that I want to be identified with. I like the previous generation, like the Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen, Gordon Lightfoot.
Guess who?
Well, they were a good band. They're not my favorite, but I think that we identify more with that Canadian voice more than whatever the voice is now. And the first generation was very conscious of America and the role of American culture in the world, and just the role of the American myth on everyone's consciousness. And so I think that we deal with that a lot. I think that's a very Canadian theme,